I don't know. It's always weird to me how, not that you can get an NFL play-by-play job without being like at 150% enthusiasm level at all times anymore. No one cares that the best ever were never like that, but that's how you have to sound. It's always weird to me that teams pick from, I don't know who that is. Sorry. Teams pick from the network guys, some of them, the Bills do, Catalan, to do their preseason games. And like, there's a picture of the guy with the Bill shirt, and he works for CBS, but now he's working for us for 3 weeks, and then that, I guess that ends. Break the ties when the preseason's over, and just back to objectivity or something. I don't know. It's also incestuous. I almost said a different word that would have been wrong. Be careful if you're going to criticize like this and get the words wrong. That does not really earn you much credibility. On the West Shore Hotline, Sam Panayotovich. I was setting up for Sam today. I'm like, one time you're at your parents' pool, the next time you're at a bachelor party in Las Vegas, you're hosting a panel on sports betting, you're moving from Boston to Chicago. Today's going to be, free and easy, right? And as soon as I'm thinking of that, I get a text from Sam, hey, I'm at the airport. So I don't know. Do you ever slow down?
I'm never home. Usually when I leave my house at 8 o'clock in the morning, I get home at 10 or 11 o'clock at night. The door people don't even recognize me, and I live there, which is funny. I can tell you, I can fully report, though, I am live at the Logan Airport where my flight has already been delayed 2 hours. But good news, I got everything out of my house yesterday, and then I went to a house party where I took this place out of money in darts. I took all their money in darts.
Oh, wow. So you flew, maybe you stopped in Chicago first, but you went from Las Vegas, where you were last Friday when we talked, and then to Boston, and you're sort of cleaning up Boston and cleaning out Boston, apparently, before heading home. That's the deal?
Yep, take the over on miles, Bulldog.
All right, well, I'll tell him next time I see him. Yesterday, I was just peeking at some futures odds and saw the Bills and Ravens, who have been equal in Super Bowl odds like every time I've looked this summer. But the Ravens are shorter or closer to the top when it comes to regular season wins. And for a minute, I didn't know what I was looking at. But so there's a little bit of a difference there. Bills versus Ravens this year for you. I think you're kind of off Baltimore, right?
Well, I like Buffalo more, but after last season, I'm so jaded and so hurt. It's like an ex-girlfriend. You don't like them anymore because they just hurt you in the worst of ways, because I had Buffalo in so many different ways. From a power rating standpoint, I feel like we have this conversation every offseason. It's Baltimore and Buffalo right at the top. And that's what any odds maker would tell you. And, when you look at the future board, Mike, you got, the Rams on top. But then in the AFC, it's Buffalo and Baltimore, 10-1. So it's the same old song and dance where, they're highly rated, they're highly respected, and they play to a high rating. But I think a lot of wise guys have sort of morphed off of those teams in terms of playing them to do big things. You don't necessarily see people betting under on Baltimore or under on Buffalo in the win total market, but you're seeing money in different places. You're seeing money on Denver to win the AFC. You're seeing money on the Chargers. You're actually seeing money on the Houston Texans. Mm-hmm. And, of course, as we've talked about, Mike, you got a lot of money, wise guy money on Cincinnati. That team has come down. They were 30-1 like 2 weeks ago when we talked, and now I look at DraftKings as I have the app up. I see a 20 at DK, and I don't have the board in front of me. But, you're not seeing that future money, AFC or Super Bowl, on Buffalo and Baltimore. I think the books kind of like it that way. You make them high. If you want to take 10-1 Super Bowl, you want to take 5-1 AFC, by all means, go for it. I have Buffalo a smidge higher to answer your initial question, but I have no dollars on Baltimore or Buffalo at this point in time.
That's different from last year. I think by mid-August last year, we were hearing about your exploits with the Bills, winning the division, the AFC, the whole thing. Does that sound right?
Oh, yeah. I had Buffalo parlayed, I think, 6 different ways. I had Buffalo in this, Buffalo in that. I had probably 5 or 6 different wagers, but Buffalo is my key. And, of course, they don't win the division, so that was a slap in the face. I go back to that game. Was it a Sunday night game when they played the Patriots?
Yes.
And you're just like, oh, they were in such a good spot to win that game and really, like, put their foot on New England's neck. And then from that point forward, New England just got hot. I mean, it was really 2 teams last offseason. All the hype, all the public hype, Chicago, New England. And you're like, oh, well, they both can't make the playoffs. And I believe they both were the 2 seed in their respective
Yes.
conferences. Doesn't usually happen like that. But yeah, after last season, and we all know how the season ended, I had Buffalo. God, if Buffalo would have won the Super Bowl, I'd have won like $70,000 or something like that. But, it is what it is. We live to fight another day.
Well, at least you have those friends with the dartboard.
Yes.
Do you want to are you inclined to give the public more respect this year? Have the trends changed, or was that maybe just a one-time thing the Bears, you've talked about the Bears a lot and called them a public team, and then they went and had the season they had last year and won a playoff game. So fantasy is changing like this, Sam. I think the sharps, if you will, are having a tougher time finding edges. And I wonder if that's true in betting.
It's a really good question. I used to be a lot more contrarian. I'd go back maybe 10 years. I think the public is a lot more informed than they've ever been, if that makes any sense.
Sure.
I mean, you have so much information and so many websites. I mean, as a fantasy guy, you know this. How many sites do you check every day for fantasy? I'm guessing it's 5 or 6, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So bettors can now look at whether it's a site like Covers or StatFox, or you have all these odd screens and bet splits and Action Network and whatever. So I think the public is a little more informed. I don't think, though, I mean, in a vacuum, if you were to take the public, and let's go 10 years, okay? So let's take the 2 most public teams over a 10-year span. So that's 20 different bets. I would guess if you faded them, you'd probably at this point go like 13-7 or 12-8. Whereas maybe, 5-6 years ago, you're 14-6. I think the public is generally smarter. I don't think they're going to be, building mansions though anytime soon. And I'll tell you what, that Chicago point that you just made, and the Westgate, Circa, South Point stations, all these casinos in Vegas. I was there. I don't even know how long ago because everything runs together. I'm guessing it was a week.
Yes.
They're all just telling me that they can't write an under bet on Chicago. And it's a little different than last year because obviously the Bears were the 4th team on the board. It was 1, 2, 3, 4. The Bears were 4th. This year, they're the most popular team. It's not even close. So I think you look at their defense. I mean, Kobe Bryant's already hurt. I don't know if you saw that story. Initially, they said he was going to miss 6 to 8 weeks, and now it's 3 to 4 months. How does that happen, number one? But number two, they're going to start maybe 3 rookies on defense. And this is a team that was, I believe, 27th or 28th in yards allowed last year on defense. So they gave up a ton of chunk plays. The thing for Chicago that worked in their favor was that they led the league in takeaways.
Yeah.
I would imagine that's going to regress. You can't do that year over year in this league. So if you didn't really fix your defense and you're now banged up, or you're going to start a 3rd-string safety and a rookie safety, oh, by the way, Dylan Thieneman, Montez Sweat is already hurt up front. They're putting a lot of stock in this kid, Austin Booker, on the line. We have no idea what he's going to be. I think their defense could be atrocious, Mike. So you couple that with their first-place schedule now because they won the division. It's a much tougher sell for me this year. I actually did kind of like the Bears to make the playoffs last year. This year, I would be looking to short. And I'll tell you what, you could probably wait until opening day. You could probably wait till, September 13th, get the best of the number, and then go under the total.
Mm-hmm. With Sam Panayotovich, I'm Mike Schopp. Bulldog is off through next week. I wanted to say my instinct was, to your points about the Bears, how many times does a division winner open the next year or even get to the start of the season the next year as the 3rd choice in that division? But as I look, there are 4 of those this year. I mean, say what you want about Carolina and Pittsburgh, but they're both the 3rd choice in their respective divisions. And so is Denver in the AFC West after 14 wins. That one's closer. Kansas City Chargers and Denver are pretty bunched up. NFC North, Chicago's almost double the odds of Detroit that finished last. So not a ton of respect there.
No, certainly not. And, I think this is a fun question to play with yourself. If you were to take one of the 4th teams in the division, I have the odds up right now. So take one of the teams that has the longest odds.
Love it.
Who would you take first? I'll let you go first.
We're going to draft these?
We could, sure. We could do that.
All right, I just closed it, but I want to play. So it's Miami, it's Cleveland, it's the Raiders, it's the Titans, it's going to be the Giants, the Vikings. There's my pick. The AFC South, Atlanta? NFC South, Atlanta?
NFC South is, Atlanta, 4-1, though. Not a big long shot.
And then Arizona. I'll take Minnesota.
Yeah, I was going to take Minnesota, too. I just keep hearing great things about their coordinators, and everybody is oozing over Kyler Murray, which I don't know if anybody saw the news that he was named the starter officially, and the memes were so funny. I mean, like they put him at the podium, and he can't see over the podium. It's very, very funny. But if he can actually deliver, some high-quality quarterback play, they could win this division. It's funny. The Vikings are treated like the Bears were last summer. Nobody was talking about the Bears last summer. To win the division, at least. People were betting they're over the win total, but Minnesota at 5-1, I think, is a good bet. I like Tennessee, man, and I know that's, famous last words. Yeah, 8-1, putting a lot of faith in Cam Ward, of course, but I'm a big fan of their defense. They got a lot better on that side of the ball, and Robert Saleh is always going to be a guy who keeps you out of the end zone. So at 8-1 in the AFC South, I get it. The Texans are really, really good. That's a solid roster. But I'm not a Stroud guy. I never have been. So at 8-1 in Tennessee, yeah, that's going to get my money for sure.
We don't have to go all the way with this. I mean, we mentioned Atlanta quickly. I think the Giants are the only other one that's interesting. It's never Vegas, Miami, Cleveland, or Arizona. But the Giants might have a look. And in the AFC South, you're talking about Tennessee. Like, that's happened before. Houston, when it first won that division maybe now 3 years ago, was huge odds to do that. I remember talking about that with Joe Ostrowski. I wanted to ask you a couple quick ones on stat leaders. We've had fun with this in the past. And yesterday I got a stat that I played around with, how in each of the last 6 NFL seasons, passing yards, rushing yards, receiving yards have been different players. 18 different guys in the last 6 years have led in those categories. And whether or not there's somebody here this year that you'd like to sort of repeat, it's not just 2 in a row. It's just nobody's won 2 in that span of 6 years. I think receiving yard leaders, there's some fun long shots. One is Burden, speaking of the Bears, at plus 5,000. One is Pickens for me at plus 3,000. That's the one of the 3 stats where I'd like to get a little weird.
Yeah, Pickens is a good call at 30-1, and you could probably find a better number. I don't have the range in front of me, but when there's a 30 at one place, there could be a 40 or a 50 at another. And as we always talk, you should always shop. Especially when you get into like 50 to 60-1 range. You could find a 50 at DK and 100 at FanDuel. So just get the best number. Pickens is a good call because we know the Cowboys defensively are not great. Even though they made some nice moves, I still don't trust them. I just kind of dogged the Bears a little bit, but I think if you play it the way it kind of, could go, I think they're going to be down in a ton of games. And I think Caleb's going to throw the ball a ton, man. So 20-1, 25-1 on Caleb to lead the league in passing yards. I don't hate that. I also was looking at sacks. When you sent me that text this morning, I'm like, ooh, what can I get on TJ Watt? He's 16-1 to lead the league in sacks. That doesn't even sound right, does it?
No, I guess not. I didn't look at anything defensive, but where does that put him? I guess 8th? I see 16-1, 8th.
Yeah. So Garrett's 250, Hutch is 5, Daniil Hunter 6, Will Anderson is 6, and so on and so forth. If TJ Watt's going to give me 14 games plus, I got a chance there at 16-1.
How about Jared Verse at plus 5,000 facing Rodgers and Burrow twice each?
Yeah, that's you could get lost. You can get lost in these markets, Mike. It's
I know.
So fun.
And Rodgers will not allow himself to be sacked. He's just going to throw the ball on the ground. Burrow loves to get sacked. So I want to bet. I want to bet on that.
You mentioned Burden. Be careful with Burden. He's a very trendy player, obviously, and he's going super high in fantasy leagues. But he already has a groin injury.
Yep.
So I'd be careful with all that Luther Burden stock. Got
a running back thought or no?
Not really. I hate the running back bets because the guy that I bet's going to go out in week 4 and be done for the season. I have a hard time being confident in a running back.
Yeah, there are some fun names down the list, like always, but not what seem like great values. What's the latest with our White Sox? If you're traveling all over the place. We're not winning series as often as we were.
Well, I think I don't have the standings in front of me. Let me pull them up real quick. I believe 66.5 is going to win. We are 62-40 or 62-58. So we need 5 more wins to hit the win total over. I'm nervous. What did we talk about a month ago, man? The Tigers.
Yeah,
I was banging the drum, and then of course they trade Skubal and Casey Mize, and they're still winning. That lineup is so good. And that's the team. If you ask me, like, who's going to spoil the White Sox division ticket that we got at 40-1, it's the Tigers. They terrify me, man.
I just have playoffs, so I'm not sweating quite as profusely. But yes, I agree on Detroit. All right, Sam. Well, sorry that you're going to be stuck there a little bit longer, but at least your pockets are full.
It's all right. I deserve it.
You deserve it. Okay, well, I will not follow up on that. Thanks for your time, and have a safe flight home.
All right, see you, Mike. Thanks.
Sam Panayotovich, now with Fox 32 in Chicago. And if he moves on from there, I think we'll probably just keep going with Sam, as long as he wants to do it. No guest, to my knowledge, that we've ever had is as eager to sort of like come on as Sam. I mean, most people are fine with it, but Sam is like, yes, I know I'm going up. I'm on SpaceX this weekend, but that's no problem. I'll still find you guys. It's cool. I'll never quit you. And I'm grateful for that. And so he and Joe are no longer working together. It was the Odyssey show that was sacked, and then it was Chicken Dinner. They're no longer working together, but I want you to know I did reach out to Joe. I've texted with him a few times in the last few weeks, and the chair is here for him if he wants to do it. He's super knowledgeable. He's been a valuable part of our thing. We love the content from Joe and Sam on Thursday and Friday afternoons during the football season. So I'm not sure it's going to happen, but it's his if he wants it. And just like with Sam on Fridays, Joe Ostrowski, a big part of our last few years